and it looks sick. And, facility is one of those things that you don't really hear about except for, during those NFLPA report cards or anything like that. But man, it looks awesome. And I hope they do a tour of it. I hope they do like a tour video for us on YouTube or something when it is built and when they are ultimately moving in. Because I think they are moving in like either sometime this upcoming week or the next week after that. But either way, nothing related to the team. But man, that new facility looks sick. And I hope we all get to go to training camp. If we are, I promise I will get Meta glasses and I will try to record best I can. And I will not be posting them on my Twitter, but I'll give them to one of my friends who doesn't care. So, yeah, that's my promise to you, Broncos country.
Dude, we got to make it out for a horsepower hour training camp, like watch party.
Yeah, dude.
I got to figure out how to get myself there for August. Well, I know how to get there, but you know what I'm saying. Right, that'd be great. Let's say hello to Jackson really quick before we get to Mark. So what's going on, fellas? I was wondering if you guys were going to do a show. I'm glad that you are. I appreciate all the work that we put in. Well, thank you very much. You guys are what makes this special. And man, we need y'all definitely during this time as we're just trying to talk Broncos, but it can be a little hard. But we gotta talk about Jonathan Cooper later on the show. Got to get y'all reactions to that. Maybe we'll get to that here in a moment. But Mark, what was your big takeaway from OTAs?
Big takeaway for me, man. I'm really excited to see Jalen Waddle in this offense. I just can't wait. Obviously the reports where he looked super good, and I don't think we're really surprised about it. But it was almost one of those things where obviously we talked about the trade happening, ad nauseum. But when he finally puts the jersey on, and you're just like, it's kind of like that subtle reminder that like, oh damn, we got Jalen Waddle. He should unlock this offense. I just can't wait, man. I can't wait to see him on the field. I can't wait to see him, starting at training camp and through the preseason. And hopefully him and Bo can get a really good connection early on. So super pumped to check out Jalen Waddle rocking the Broncos jersey.
Most definitely. Jeremy, big takeaway from OTAs?
Yeah, it's just a late start, but it's good to be back. Good to see everybody back on the field. It's been a minute. It's nice to see all the new. It's like same team, but a little bit different team, which is kind of just the upgrades that we made are pretty significant, I would say. So all the latest news, you can tell Sean feels very confident, like we're coming into the season, like just like last season. Last season when he said it, people were like, "Whoa, let's take a moment. Is that true? Is he's just hyping up the team?" And now I don't think anybody is like questioning that confidence. So that shows you, where we ended up, but also like we've come to learn that when he says something, you should probably listen to it.
Yeah, I guess this last time we were debating, can we be a contender for the division? And now we got Super Bowl aspirations, which is great. I think I put out a video last week about a lot of my takeaways, a lot of different directions I'd want to go, but I totally forgot to mention this, is that I thought it was so interesting how they seem to be pretty clear that Jahdae Barron was going to be mainly competing to play outside corner. And sounds like, I don't know if they ever came out and said that it's like legitimately a competition between him and Riley Moss, but that he's going to be playing outside cornerback. And I thought this was interesting. It's always nice to hear guys that like aren't like Broncos fans or Broncos media talk about the team, because the Check the Mic podcast is one that I watch a lot. And they had their breakout candidate right here for 2026, even though they mentioned how I don't know what his path to seeing the field is right now. But they seem to say that Jahdae Barron will find a way, that he is just that good. And it was nice to hear at least somebody have some positive takes about Jahdae, because I feel like pretty much all of us have written him off, kind of including myself. I feel like we need to bring him, out to safety. But if Jahdae Barron can earn himself somewhere a starting position on this defense, I think our defense would be much better for it. And I like to hear that. But guys, did any of y'all have any thoughts on this? Hearing about Jahdae Barron's potential breakout?
think it's a difficult player to say like, oh, he's gonna have a breakout season. Like I'm a big Jahdae Barron believer. I think he's still gonna be a really good player. I don't think that's a lot of Broncos fans like feel that he's a bad player. I just think that they felt like it was a bad pick because it was such a it's such a deep position, and I totally understand that. That's a good problem to have. That's the problem. But like for me, if Jahdae gets an opportunity to get on the field, I think he's going to do really good. I think the big thing though, what I want to see, man, is I want to see him legitimately compete with somebody, whether it's Jaquan. More likely than not, it's Riley Moss, because I think Jaquan McMillan is just like in the elite category for nickel. And if he doesn't end up just flat out winning it, or at least really pushing Riley, then it is definitely cause for concern, because it's like, you want to see your first round pick in year 2 at least pushing somebody for a starting spot. If it's really close and they go with Riley, that's fine too. But I think when he gets his opportunities, regardless of the position, I think he's going to be somebody that plays really well. And yeah, I mean, Mikey's making a good point here. Like safety makes sense for him, but guys, even if you play, like let's say hypothetically, they're like, all right, we're going to transition him to safety. He's not playing unless somebody gets hurt again too. So it's not like it really changes that much. He'd be a great depth piece, but do you want your first round pick to be a depth piece to make you feel that much better? So I think for me, it's like, he's the Swiss Army knife kind of guy. If it's going to line up against tight ends, another slot guy, he can go out there and do it. So, it's just kind of a wait and see at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It feels kind of like the take was just like, well, of course you're going to pick the number 1 draft pick who didn't play a lot his first year. Like that's of course the obvious person to select, but it's really not who I would have picked, because if you're paying attention to this team, it's opportunity. Like it's just a tough opportunity for him still. There's not really any wide open places. Now, with somebody like JFM leaves, and then you have opportunity for maybe Savion Jones, or you have Q Robinson maybe, or Jonah Ellis is going to see more if that's more opportunity. So I don't think it will be him, even though I still think he's a really good player. It's just, if someone's going to have to probably go down for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that doesn't happen.
Kodiak, any thoughts on Jahdae Barron this year?
Well, Jeremy kind of nailed it on the head. Like, when you sent that initially to us, I was just like, okay, you're taking the guy who we took in the first round pick a year ago. Very bold to have a breakout season. But you know what? He really isn't the obvious pick, okay? Because even Mark said, like, if you transition him to safety, he's not playing over Jones or Hufanga unless there is an injury, because both those guys have just been way too good. And you know what? If you can't beat out Moss, then okay, you're going to feel a little bit worse about the pick. That being said, I think there is still a lot of use for him on this team. Then again, as far as like breakout candidates, probably would have selected one of those guys who has big shoes to fill on the defensive line. Maybe we get, I don't know, inside linebacker breakout. I probably would have gone with one of those guys, because I haven't done the whole like plant my flag thing on any of these inside linebackers or any of these young defensive players who I really think can take a step up. But yeah, once again, he's in a cluttered room. He's in a buried room. And I feel bad for him, and I feel bad for him. These guys, they are more than up for the challenge. They more than have the abilities to play well when called upon. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
It would have been interesting, yeah, because, Riley Moss was floated in trade rumors, felt like all off season. And I wonder if they would have, done it if maybe they felt a little bit more confident and Barron just sliding over to take that on. But we'll see. Maybe he can improve everybody wrong and have a strong mini camp here coming up, or second week of OTAs. I don't even know when that starts again this week, but something to pay attention to. The other thing to pay attention to is what the heck, guys, is going to go on in our edge room. I mean, probably the biggest shocker of OTAs is that right after, you had that big charity softball event at like Coors Field or whatever, and Jonathan Cooper arrested early Friday morning. It seems like it's a case of he said, she said, but the only thing that we know that both parties agreed to is that Jonathan Cooper tried to eat this phone.
I think Jonathan Cooper might be a genius. After I thought about it, I was like, all right, you're not allowed to put hands on somebody to like intimidate them, do all that kind of stuff. That would get you suspended. That would get you arrested. That would get you fined. But you take somebody's phone from them and bite it to the point where you break the screen and then chew like the glass. Like, I'm not messing with that person ever again. I know that. That's behavior that I'm like, you know what? All right, I'm not pushing that person anymore. So somehow he accomplished his goal, and all you need to do is, go down to the mall and get a new screen. So, give him credit. That was pretty creative.
That's crazy, man. I saw that he pled not guilty for it. So we'll see what happens. But Mark, I gotta know, man, what was going through your mind reading this kind of information,
Dude,
man.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you guys were joking because I think I heard about the whole biting thing in the little group chat that we had. I thought it was like a joke, and then I saw that he actually did it. I mean, I'm kind of with Jeremy on it. Like for me, listen, I think I mean domestic violence is obviously a terrible thing, right? But there's so many different levels to what's considered domestic violence these days. So when the story came out, and it wasn't like a Ray Rice situation, or he put his hands on her or pushed her or hurt her, and it was just like he bit her phone, it kind of becomes funny. Now I hope that that's all that really happened, and nobody ultimately did get hurt. But to be honest, dude, the first thing that I thought of, man, for whatever reason, was the Grinch. You know, when he was a baby and he was like, he eats, basically just he chews on glass, and that's like what he was eating. It was like always one of the funnier scenes when I was a kid. I thought about that, but I think, listen, if you're going to have off the field problems, this is the best time for them to happen. If there's ever a good time, it's a lot of things can play out before the season. I think by the time the even training camp comes around, but certainly the preseason, like we're not going to be talking about the Jonathan Cooper situation, I don't think. And just from my opinion, from the facts that we know, it doesn't seem like, I don't think it's warranting of a suspension, but if it is a couple of games, it is what it is. You move on. So hopefully that's all we have to deal with from an off the field standpoint for the team. But definitely crazy, man, when somebody breaks somebody else's phone by biting it. Like, I mean, damn, that's a strong dude, man. Like, I couldn't even imagine being able to do that. So it is what it was, but yeah, unfortunate, but we'll see if anything comes from it.
I just feel like I would have chipped my tooth.
Oh, easily. It's insane.
Yeah,
it's absolutely insane.
And when you're that strong, you could just slam that thing.
Well, that's the point. Anybody can throw a phone, but who's crazy enough to bite one? That's the factor right there.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like think if you put yourself in that situation in that moment, you're like, I don't want to throw the phone. Maybe you accidentally hurt somebody. I'm just gonna put it in my mouth and bite it. I don't know what went on, but they always say nothing good happens at 2 a.m, and clearly it doesn't.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen with this. It's definitely one of the weirder Broncos stories. Kodiak, I know you're one of the best Broncos historians out there right now. So yeah. Are there any other crazy storylines that popped up in your mind when you were reading about this?
Okay, a couple. One, obviously, that was not as serious. I mean, it was at the time. It just was stupid at the time. But the Chad Kelly thing, that reminded me of this just because it was so ludicrous because he got beat with a vacuum cleaner. And I actually know somebody who was at that Halloween party, and I've heard some stuff that I can't really share publicly. But and then remember Jerry Jeudy also. Remember he had that whole thing like with his baby mama over baby formula, and DV is so hard to gauge, especially when it's more over property, because it seems like this is more of a property dispute, even though they were like fighting with one another. But yeah. I just got to say, man, Jonathan Cooper, I love you very much. Please, for the love of God, put down the bottle, okay? Because I got to imagine that they were not sober when this happened. I mean, if he was stone cold sober trying to eat a phone, then maybe we have different things to discuss. But you guys remember, like, I think December last year after we won the AFC West when he went on that, like, late night Twitter rant about the Chiefs? Like, dude, put the liquor down, okay? Stephen A. Smith with Josh Gordon, he said, stay off the weed. Cooper, stay off the liquor. That's Kodiak saying that. Yeah, either way. I guess the absurdity of the headline kind of deflects from a lot of the situation, but I don't know. I just have a gut feeling, and this is my gut feeling, that they should probably break up.
That's probably a good theory. I don't know. You guys might not be old enough for this, but I'm thinking back on my Broncos fandom for throughout the years. Back when Mike Shanahan was a coach, he signed a big free agent named Daryl Gardner.
Yeah.
He's from Washington Redskins. You remember that?
Yeah. Joe Gardner's a big guy.
Yeah. And before training camp happened, he got into a fight at like, of course, like 1 or 2 a.m. in the parking lot of an IHOP, and the papers didn't want to give International House Pancakes any free publicity, so they kept calling it outside of a pancake house. He hit a guy like all off season. It's like Daryl Gardner who hit a guy outside of a pancake house. So that one was just as absurd because it was like because he broke his hand hitting somebody, and then he was like on injured reserve for a while there, and he never panned out. He ended up being like one of the worst signings in Broncos history. But it was like all went back to roughing somebody up outside of an IHOP.
I'll never forget the Brandon Marshall story. Man, we don't know what happened, but he had to have surgery on his hand because tore all these tendons because he
from a cut
on a McDonald's bag. That's what he said.
Right.
Slipped
That's
on a
right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
No, you punched something, or I think, Jeremy, you said in the Discord, you probably punched through glass in some sort of situation and cut your hand, not slipping on a McDonald's bag.
That's I was working at a news station at the time. That's the word on the street is it was through glass. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you're not doing that on a McDonald's bag. Mikey's saying Cody Latimer got pepper sprayed. What?
Oh, that's
I didn't
right.
know about this one.
I don't know about that, but didn't Aqib Talib shoot himself?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember
he shot himself in the leg, I think.
June after
he
was Yeah.
It's always okay if Aqib does it. Like he's that's what he's known for, and he's like he gets a pass in my book because that's just like Aqib's hilarious. But
right after.
Yeah, that was the year. That was 4 months after we won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah. And at that point, you're like, whatever, we won the Super Bowl, who cares? But yeah, that was wild. And then there was wasn't there. Well, here's another thing I was confused with too. You guys see the picture of Jonathan Cooper at the courthouse, but Michael Wilhoit was there too, the coach that ended up getting fired because he fought a cop at the DIA. Were they just in court at the same time, because doing their own things, or why was he there? Because I was like, that's really weird. That's not somebody you would necessarily want to come to court with you. But I feel like they probably had a court date on the same day, so that's something that makes sense. But yeah, there's a lot of weird ones. There's another one too where wasn't it like he was the GM or John Elway's right-hand man? He was drunk and he backed up into a parked car.
No, he drove right into it. Yeah,
he drove right into the parked car.
Up in Breckenridge or Vale or something. Yeah,
it was like his third DUI or something like that.
It was Matt Russell, wasn't it?
Yeah, Matt Russell.
Matt Russell.
Oh yeah. Wait. Oh, Respect My Coast says TJ Ward Strip Club. Guys, never go to Shotgun Willie's, okay? That was the same incident where John Morant had that gun thing, and TJ Ward had that thing where he was throwing the mug at the dude, and then Josh Reynolds literally got shot after we beat the Saints. So, guys, nothing good happens at Shotgun Willie's. Do not go there. Dude, I've never been there, but if you ever want to go there, you probably shouldn't.
That's right. They put a hit out on Josh Reynolds, right? And they chased him all throughout I-25 or something crazy like that.
It's insane.
One thing, side topic, one thing that was always weird about Shotgun Willie's, if you've ever been by there, they have a huge sign and it's a big shotgun and it says Shotgun Willie's, but the shotgun is bent flaccid. And I'm like, that's not a good advertisement for your strip club. It should be as straight as an arrow. What are we doing here? I always found that super weird, and I've never heard good stories coming from it. So
no,
yeah. Oh, I got one more. Remember when Noah Fant was cutting the tape off his leg and bled out? And I don't remember if he had to miss a game, but I remember it was during his rookie year where he cut the tape off his foot and he was bleeding profusely from his foot or something like that. I don't know.
Man, I don't remember that, but
yeah, I do remember that story. He ended up, I don't think he missed any time though, but he almost did.
Yeah.
I'll just never forget during the COVID year, Drew Lock taking off his mask, getting in trouble, and then his mommy coming to defend him on social media. So embarrassing.
Yeah, so embarrassing.
Yeah, your mom's just got to shut up whether you're right or wrong.
Oh my God, I would have called my mom and be like, delete that and don't ever have a Twitter ever. Please.
Didn't I think Brian Greasy's dog ran into him while he was outside and hurt his knee? That's
I do remember something like that with Brian.
Something
Greasy.
like that happened where you're like, wait, what? His dog took out his ACL or something. But I mean, he didn't tear it, but it strained it for. He was
he sprained his left ankle when he tripped over
his dog.
He was tripped by his dog on the stairs at home.
That's right.
See, like that's another one where I'm like, were you though?
I'm gonna blame the
Is that
dog.
really what happened?
Or are you snowboarding or something?
Well,
Doing
something happened with
something
Lucas Kroll too last year, which I think we were all like, I mean, you never want anybody to get hurt, but we were like fine with him not being on the team for much longer. But he hurt himself with some sort of like freak at home incident too that like re-injured something. But that's some crazy stuff, man. I don't know if anything's ever gonna top biting your girlfriend's phone though.
For not
That's
being
up there.
that serious, that's really, really hard to forget. That's gonna be
I'm
up there.
ready for the AI videos to come out of him like eating the phone.
He's eating the phone.
We'll see though. Now this was also kind of crazy as well in OTAs. We had another team captain kind of making the headlines a little bit. Maybe not to the likes of Jonathan Cooper, but you had Cortland Sutton essentially call out this show. That's what he was doing, calling out this show. Said he's sick and tired of hearing about people crap on this tight end room, that it's a fantastic room. Kodiak, I know you had thoughts on this. Tee us off on this. What do you think of Cortland Sutton telling us some fake news?
Listen, the first thought is that it brings me back to, I think, when Elijah Moore was just drafted by the New York Jets and DK Metcalf and AJ Brown were just like, oh yeah, he is definitely better than we are. Players do not know ball in the same way that we do. No, they know ball. I'll give them their credit. Like, obviously they're on the field doing their thing. But for the people that watch about this team and the people that talk about this team, Cortland Sutton, I'm glad that you will have their back. But come on, dude. Like, there's no way you've been in the meeting room, the offensive meeting room, and, you know, you've seen, I guarantee they've shown the lowlights of Troutman, of Kroll, of Adkins up there. And I guarantee that, you know, Sean Payton has called those guys out in the meeting room. And Justin Simmons said as such, he was just like, you know what? I'll defend them publicly, but behind closed doors, I'll call them out respectfully. And I feel like that's a little bit of what's going on here. But the fact that it was unprovoked, the fact that he went up there and he was just like, guys, I'm sick of it. Like, you know what, son? I'm sick of our dudes not blocking. I'm sick of our dudes not getting open on third downs. I'm sick of not having a security blanket in the red zone. I'm sick of dudes who are brought in to be blocking tight ends that can't block. So listen, son, I'm glad you have their back, but I'm sick of watching, you know, you're sick of us ripping them apart. I'm sick of watching them on the field.
Thank you, man. Yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
I got two points about him doing that. One, he loves the fact that they're not catching a ton of balls because he gets more and he's going to get 1,000 yards. That's one. So he's like, hey, I love what they're doing. Like, these guys are great. But here's the other thing. He specifically did not say they were good tight ends. He said they do the job they're asked to do, which is very different. That is not saying we have high-end tight ends. That is saying they're asked to do a very specific thing, which is not be the big stars of the show, and they do that. Now, I disagree that they're good at doing that personally, or have been consistent at that, but he did not make the case that we have the best tight end room in the NFL. He said for what they're asked to do, they do their job. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I'm going to go stick up for you. And then like it's kind of stuck up for him, but not really. You're kind of like, wait, did he stick up for, like, what did he actually say? He didn't actually say the greatest things ever. I mean, it sounded like he said it emphatically, but it was really more of like, they're there, like, you know, so.
Wow.
Yeah,
Court.
I think anytime you bring something up unprovoked, you're obviously self-conscious about it. You know, like I know J.K. Dobbins brought up his injury history, but I don't remember if he was asked about it or not. But like, you don't just randomly bring something up unless it's on your mind. And I don't expect for Cortland Sutton to do anything else, but that's what really surprised me the most. Because when I first heard the clip, I thought maybe he was asked about the tight ends. I was like, oh, he's just being a good teammate. Like, what do you expect from him to say that, you know, they suck, we need them to be better? Like, he's not going to say that. But when he just brings it up, you're like, oh, he clearly, like, he knows that this is kind of an issue. It's been an issue. And he's going to try to, like, take their back. I think it probably, in a way, kind of backfired on him. But I'm with Kodiak, man. Like, well, and Jeremy makes some good points, too, about it's more balls for him. But I'm with Kodiak in a sense of, like, that's cool. You can believe that they've been good and that you have a good room. But, like, don't insult our intelligence as Bronco fans. Like, we know what we've been seeing. And we haven't seen good. We haven't even seen average or slightly below average tight end production and tight end play here in a decade. Like, in Cortland Sutton's entire tenure here, we've never had a good tight end, not once. So I don't really care what Court says.
Maybe that's why he thinks
the
they're
fact that our
good.
tight ends are ass.
Maybe that's why he thinks they're good, because he has nothing to go off of.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah,
He's like, they're better than they've been, in my first couple of years.
Yeah, exactly.
Did we even have a tight end in the first couple of years?
Well, actually, the first couple of years of Cortland Sutton's career, we had Noah Fant, who got 650 yards with Bridgewater and Locke as his QB.
That's elite numbers for our kind of room.
Oh my goodness, for Bridgewater and Locke, that's unbelievable production. Even if he was just a glorified wide receiver.
I remember those dumb jet sweeps we do with him all the time.
Oh yeah,
freaking Pat Shermer, man.
Then he went to Albert O, and then he went to Greg. I can't. Dulcich. Thank you.
Should just Albert O.
Yeah, that's rough.
I'm still kind of salty about Dulcich, like giving up on him that quickly. Like we still got Drew Sanders on the squad. We're still hopeful about Drew Sanders, and you cut Dulcich immediately. Yeah. Like at least that guy showed something when he played, and now he's been healthy and he's been like sparking. But yeah, that one still kind of bugs me because I'm like, at least the guy had talent.
It's a great point.
Yeah,
I mean, Luke, we can't quit. We can't quit Lucas Kroll, but we can just go ahead and cut Greg Dulcich
immediately too. Like, he finally got back. We were patient. He finally gets back to the point where like he's playing, and then they gave him 2 games, and they were like, "Nah, we're good." It's like, what the hell did you waste all that time for? That's crazy.
Maybe they just think he's soft, and they just don't like his like makeup, his like mental makeup.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I took. Cool. That's what I honestly took it as, because I was like, there's something that they are unwilling to even like try to see through. Like they're like, no, we're cutting this.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yep. That makes sense. But either way, I'm on StatMuse right now, and the fact that we signed Ingram last year in the hopes that we would solve this problem, but the Broncos, I literally have to buy a subscription to see where the tight end yardage and where the tight end production is on this chart. Now I get it. Tight end is a position where it's not always going to show up on the box score. Okay. And I think you just needed like probably 50 more yards or so, and it probably would have been on this chart. That being said, tight end is more situational more than anything else. Red zone, third down, blocking. And I don't know. We just don't have any guys that can like actually perform well in those areas. That's just all it really goes to.
Wow, man, that's crazy. Now, in other news with the tight end position, it was devastating to hear that Caleb Lohner is out till training camp. Are you freaking kidding me? Can you believe this, guys? He's the one guy that could change this tight end room, even more than our new draft picks. I guess it's back on the Evan Ingram hype train. Am I overreacting, guys, and thinking that him missing OTAs and minicamp, it actually puts him at a huge disadvantage going into training camp?
No, I think it does, man.
Yeah.
For him specifically, yeah. Like, let's say it was Evan Ingram, you'd be like, all right, like he doesn't, this is not like you have the highest expectations, but this is a veteran. This guy's played a lot of football, like not a big deal. Same thing with Bo. Like it's not that big a deal. He's missing the, mini camp, but Caleb Lohner needs like every single opportunity. And I don't think they've actually, they're giving us the hockey injury, right? They just say lower body or something.
Yeah.
I do get worried that it could be an issue for him because, apparently, just based on the way he looked, he put a lot of weight on, and he's not necessarily used to carrying those kinds of pounds on his frame. I'm just kind of speculating, but I think for Caleb Lohner, it's huge, dude. Like that's awful for him because he needs as much as he possibly can to play. So hopefully he's actually back by training camp. Sometimes you hear like out till training camp and they still miss like the first week or so. Yeah. So I hope he's back at it and ready to go by training camp. But listen, he's still the longest of long shots, whether we want to admit it or not. But he's definitely a fun story to talk about.
Whoa. We got friendly fire. Sean said one good thing about him in a press conference. David's all broken up about him being. You're absolutely right. I'm broken up about him being hurt. Calm the hype until we see something in preseason.
Dude, if we're just desperate touchdown bonus, right? If we had good tight ends, I don't think David would care that much. Yeah, we got nothing. So we gotta be hopeful on something, dude. Something's got to change.
Something to get us excited, man. It's one less thing to get excited about. You're killing me, man.
Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in, man. Maybe it is Dallin Bentley, FC, Justin Jolie, FC. Jeremy, sorry I interrupted you.
Oh no, you didn't. I was just gonna say, like, yeah, he's tight end 6, even going in, even with like him getting hyped up by Sean Payton, which maybe Sean Payton knew, like maybe that was like the ultimate like, misdirect where he's just like, oh, everybody, you know, who's pretty awesome. Caleb
He
Warner.
probably knew he was hurt at that point too.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
just messed up his ankle's gonna need
That's
surgery,
what I'm
but the guy's
saying.
gonna be a killer.
That's what I'm saying. Like he got the training report like right as he went to the podium. He's like, you know who I like, Caleb Warner.
Cecil Lammy's gonna cream his pants over.
Exactly.
And then
It wouldn't surprise me if he did that. He's like, if they're talking about this, then that means they're not talking about something else that he'd prefer them to not to. So
Yeah, exactly.
who knows? But yeah, the loner boner is currently flaccid until further notice.
Oh my
Just like
God.
Shotgun Willie's.
I want a loner boner so bad. But anyways, guys, yeah, maybe it is Dallin Bentley, Evan Ingram. You know, I might just have to get back on the hype train for Evan Ingram, proving everybody wrong here in the second year in the system. Okay, I feel like we've talked about the big things. You guys want to talk about extension talk, or is there anything else on your mind? No?
I mean, what did you think about the $5 million raise for PS2 and then with like nothing warranted about it? Like they're just like, hey, NFL player who's already being highly paid, here's 5 extra for you just so you don't possibly have something. That's just pretty unprecedented. And so I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it and he did all that and he's still not the highest paid. I get all that. But like, it's just interesting because if they wouldn't have done that, would we be talking about somebody being disgruntled right now? Because he doesn't seem like that guy at all. But we don't seem like the type of team to be the most like, hey, you know who could use some extra money? You, football player. Like we're pretty tight with that stuff. So I don't know. To me, I just thought it was pretty interesting that happened.
Was it 2023 where I felt like his dad was incredibly vocal during the start of that season, man, on Twitter? And I mean, we did give up 70 points to the Dolphins, you know, but I think it was pretty clear from Pat Surtain Sr. that they were not happy with like him in Denver. That's just kind of how I felt about it. But then obviously we started winning. Then he signs the contract extension. But yeah, I mean, his extension wasn't coming up, but I do think that it does stop a potential holdout. But I don't think the Surtain family is definitely one that's just like, we're just going to always go with the program and all that sort of things, just by what we saw out of Pat Surtain Sr.'s comments a few years ago. Like, they're, you know, he is the best player on the team. And so, I don't know. There's a little bit of game you got to play with that. But I'm curious what y'all think.
Go ahead, Kodiak, if you have any thoughts.
My mind is blank right now. You go ahead.
I know we discussed it a tiny bit. I know you weren't on the episode. You weren't able to make it last week, Jeremy. I mean, for me, listen, it's not my money. If you're gonna give extra cash that you have to your best player, I think it's always money well spent. I think it goes far beyond just the $5 million that you're basically $10 million over the next 2 years. You know, to continue this culture and to continue to establish yourself as the team that pays their own guys if they perform really well. And I don't know if he was gonna hold out this year. I mean, for sure not this year. I don't think so. But I do believe that there was certainly, they're like, they see a bunch of benefits, right? They're like, it's not that much money. It's gonna help with the culture and help with, you know, the reputation of the team. But most importantly, you're kind of getting ahead of something that could become a holdout situation next year, because shortly after he signed his contract, like 6 months after, he was all of a sudden the 6th or 7th highest paid corner. The cornerback market was going crazy. So it's like, we'll pay a little bit now, so maybe we don't have to pay as much down the road either, because now they have all the leverage of like, hey, we basically hooked you up with an extra $10 million. And if you add that to the original contract that he paid, he's still like not even the top 3 highest paid corners in the league. So I think it's worth it. It was just kind of random, but I mean, like, again, if you're gonna give somebody that money, give it to PS2. And anybody that had a problem with it, but was like okay with signing Adam Troutman or whatever we signed him for, you guys got to reevaluate the way that you think a team's built. Because we gave Adam
that's the
Troutman like
bigger
$8 million.
issue.
And there was some people that were like, well, yeah, he's not that great, but it's just $8 million. But then they freak out when you give PS2 an extra $5 million. It's like, it doesn't work that way, in my opinion. So,
Well, Adam Troutman's one of the best all-around tight ends in the NFL, according to him. So
yeah, all around.
yeah, all-around tight ends. Yeah, Jeremy, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, it's not about this one deal. It's about the precedent that's being set. So does that mean other people on the team can be like, I had a really good year. Should I get a raise even though I just signed a new contract or I'm in the middle of a contract? That's always the question. Now, when it comes to PS2, you can make the case if you're, Greg Penn or whoever is making the deals of like, that's PS2. He's defensive player of the year. That's that's the best cornerback in football. He's on his own kind of, tier there. But anytime you're, it's never the contract. It's like, it's always like Bo's going to get paid whatever the market value is. It's not about whether who's ever is up next is like how much is going to get paid. So anytime you see one of these things, it's just the next guy on another team is going to be like, well, Pat Surtain got it, so now I should get it. So that's where it comes to being interesting.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I mean, because it's your best player, like that's where it's like, I don't know how many guys have that kind of leverage, to come in and be like, oh, well, I deserve more money too. I mean, I think if they did that, then Sean and George would just be like, okay, you can leave, because that would never really work out right. But I think it's more about like, trust the process, man. Anytime guys have come in here and they've played well, they performed well, they've kind of bought into what Sean's preaching, they've all gotten rewarded, all of them, every single one, whether we think it was deserved or not. And so that in and of itself, I think speaks volumes.
Yeah. And it did. Obviously, you look at the Patriots and Patrick Surtain's boy, Christian Gonzalez, he's now in a contract dispute and he got paid. So like it is interesting that like two guys that are very like similar in the way that they're respected, one got paid and is like hadn't said a word. And we didn't hear about it ahead of time. That was the other thing that I felt was interesting about it, is it wasn't one of those things that sometimes when people chirp and start saying stuff out of pocket on, Twitter or whatever, then people were like, well, that guy's now not going to get paid because he kind of spoke out. But he went, I think, back channels with his agent or whatever, and they were like, hey, throw him some more money so you don't have a problem, kind of like the mob. If you don't want to have a problem. And then they're like, okay. So I just thought it was an interesting deal. I mean, I'm not mad about it. It's Patrick Surtain. He deserves it. But anytime contracts in the NFL go like that are really like out of left field, or it's always something I question. I'm just like, I wonder what was really going on behind the scenes there.
Yep.
Well, I think this feeds in very well to what we're having a great discussion in the chat about this, and that is possibly putting some more money into the cornerback room. We got a handful of guys open for extensions. Let's see. We got, not a corner, but Mims. I think we've talked about that one to death. But we got Riley Moss, Jaquan McMillan,
Brandon
Jones.
And Brandon Jones.
Brandon Jones. Oh, yeah, Brandon Jones, not DJ Jones, right? Because he's got one more year after this, I think. And then Ioma Awazarike. Right now, we sit at like negative $35 million in cap space for next year. Darian wanted us to talk about how broke we are. So, personally, me right now, I'm not freaking out much about next year's cap number. I'm sure that will change. But I probably think only out of that list, I mean, max, maybe we extend 2 guys. Max? Who are those guys that you're extending and why? Kodiak?
So I think the first one I'm going to do is, you're not going to be able to keep one or both of J-Mac or Riley, in my opinion. I think at least one of those guys is out the door. That being said, I think you are still going to put something into your secondary. So I would give Brandon Jones a short-term extension. Okay. Now, I was on with Mark about a month ago, and he mentioned the fact that Brandon Jones has pretty much zero guaranteed money for this year. So I would do a very, very short extension for Brandon Jones, like probably a year, give you more time to find out if you have an answer behind him at the coverage safety position, find out another time to, potentially patch that spot, going forward, because I think you should give yourself more leeway to figuring that out. And listen, Brandon Jones, great football player, but probably not going to be re-signed if I had to bet on it. That being said, safety is a position where it's easy to find a Band-Aid if you need to. But on the other side of the coin, it's like, okay, since it's a relatively replaceable position in league economics, then I'll pay him and maybe a year or two, and just keep it down, money-wise. And I think that he would agree to that. I think that the team would do that too. As far as Moss or J-Mac, I want to hear what you guys think first, all right? Because, like I said, I think we can only keep one of them. So I'd love to hear what you guys are saying right now.
I would sign Brandon Jones and definitely Jaquan McMillan. There's not a doubt about it that Jaquan McMillan needs to be signed back. He's like arguably the best playmaker on this entire defense. All he does is make big plays in big moments. And even though like I said, I'm a Jahdae Barron believer, I don't necessarily think he could be as good or as much of a playmaker at nickel as Jaquan McMillan. So that being said, I think that he can at least get to Riley Moss's standards. Now, this isn't Riley Moss slander, right? I think he took a really massive leap last year, but he doesn't make plays. He's just not a playmaker on the defense. And it seems like whenever he does have a bad play, it comes at the worst moments, which sucks. So he's definitely way above average starting NFL corner, but that doesn't mean that somebody like Jahdae Barron can't come in and be just as good, if not better. There's a lot more upside there. So I would personally look to trade Riley if I could, even if it was this year. But if you have to let him walk, you let him walk. You get the comp picks, no problem. And Brandon Jones, for all the reasons you said, Brandon Jones is not going to be very expensive. I think Riley Moss would actually ask for a very pretty penny, which he certainly should, especially with a good year this year. And Marvin Mims is just, he's going to ask for way more than the Broncos are going to be willing to pay. And so I think those are the two guys that make a whole lot of sense in terms of re-signing. And then that way your defense is really not looking all that different in 2027 with Jahdae taking over for Riley. You still got the same nickel, you still got PS2, and you got your safeties. So your secondary is, I think, still good to go.
I'll go the other side. I think I've personally, as much as I love Jaquan McMillan and what the plays that he made last year, and like maybe, hit the play that beat Buffalo, honestly, because if he doesn't make that play, they're going to win. But for some reason, I feel more comfortable if it was PS2 Riley and Jahdae than I would feel if it was PS2 Jahdae and McMillan, just because of the style of position or style of play that those two guys, they're kind of similar. So I'd have to see it. And now maybe Jahdae could come in and step in and show that he can play the Riley, the two, and be fine. But that's the part where it's just like, okay, if Jahdae's a lock because of the contract that he's on, the rookie contract, he kind of plays that nickel spot a little bit more than he would play the two. So I don't think you can go wrong. It's a good problem to have, I guess, but I don't know, man. I guess I still have that PTSD of when Riley went down 2 years ago and the defense just fell apart.
That's a good point.
And it was just like, oh crap. We knew he was good, but we didn't realize he was like holding it all together like that. Now the guy that came in for him was absolute like trash, or played like trash, but that was a big part of it. And maybe Jahdae could have stepped in and we would have been fine. Who knows? But I guess that's the part I still have a problem with. I know it's the penalties. I know they like to pick on him for whatever reason, but I don't know. I just feel like he's really, really rock solid right there. And I don't think he gets enough credit for starting opposite Patrick Surtain. It's just, he's going to get all the balls. That's just the way it's going to go. And that position's just like, two's hard anyways in this league, but when you're two opposite Patrick Surtain, now you're just really in the fire. And I just love his personality of like, he's just going to be competitive every single time. Even if he gets burned, even if he has a penalty, whatever, he's going to come back. And so you can't go wrong either way. I don't think. I would love to figure out a way to keep him, but that's $5 more million. We can't pay one of those guys.
Right. I got to give a quick hello to the great Moose of Broncos Breakdown in here. And thanks for the $4.99. Appreciate that as always. And he said, Mark is spitting straight heat. There is a legit cornerback 2 battle, boys. Buckle up. And yeah, I mean, if Jade is better, even better than Riley, I think that's a really good sign for Jade Barron. But like you're pointing out, Jeremy, like he's still a good cornerback. And I will say,
Really
even
good.
though his 12 penalties last year drove me insane, only 1 interception, being the most targeted corner. To back him up a little bit, there are some things I think he's a really solid tackler.
Yeah, really
71
good.
Solo tackles. That was second in the NFL at the position. 71 solo tackles. And then he was also first in PBUs with 15. I mean, this is all PFF, so I know some other stats sites do it a little bit different. But I think I feel it's a problem because I think somebody said Jaquan deserves the extension more. And I think that's the case. But also I feel like our team is better suited to deal with replacing slot than the outside cornerback position. But you would still also like an upgrade there. So that's kind of the weird conundrum.
That is good.
Yeah, Kodiak, do you got a thought? Looks like you're thinking.
The way I'm thinking about this is I think that we have 2 solutions to replacing J-Mac, whereas we could potentially have 0 with Riley Moss. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, Chris Ames-Drain, like, you can throw him in outside on the boundary, and he can survive there. He can't survive there, but I don't know. For whatever reason, he's a very good coverage player, but I don't think they really give him a lot of trust in the early down situations. But, and Jaquan McMillan is very good, but if you do want to make something against him, the really good slot wide receivers do seem to get the better of him. Like I think about Downs last year when we played the Colts. I think about Wandale when we played the Giants, Parker Washington when we played the Jags. So, it obviously, but one thing that is good about Jaquan is that whenever he gets burned, it's not in a high leverage situation. Okay. He always gets burned at inconsequential times, whereas Riley Moss, it's kind of the opposite. But with Moss, you see him, embrace the challenge of being opposite Patrick Surtain. You see him, I think he's really starting to embrace the city of Denver because he has that Rocky's girlfriend or whatever. And, he's always repping the Nuggets and the Avs too. And I feel like that goes a long way with this team too. So, yeah. But either way, yeah, it's interesting to think about. I think right now, if I'm deciding between the 2, I think I would decide with J-Mac because I think Moss, it's kind of like the JFM thing where the skill set is going to be available on the open market. And it's going to be something that we probably just can't match. Like, that's just what it boils down to. I think it's kind of the JFM problem where I think he just knows he can go somewhere else and he'll probably get a pretty payday on the open market.
Yep. Now you nailed it on the head with J-Mac. Like, but when he does, the thing is though, when he does get burnt, he always makes teams pay. Always.
Every
time. Like, J-Mac had more interceptions last year than he had touchdowns allowed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he just makes plays. He's a baller like that. And I think that's been a consistent theme of him for a long time. That's my only thing. And like, I get what you mean because we are better suited to replace Jaquan for sure, I think, than we are to replace Riley. But, dude, we can't forget, like, there's a reason why they drafted Jade Barron. I mean, it wasn't just because he was best player available. Like, a lot of people were saying they are kind of looking ahead or, you want to have depth. You solve the depth issue, but he's got to be in the plans at some point. And you would never, I mean, if it ended up working out this way, it's fine, but you would never plan on using the 20th overall pick in the draft for a slot corner. So there's always that. But yeah, I mean, I just want to see, I just want to see a legitimate cornerback 2 battle. I want to see Riley Moss and Jade Barron legitimately battle it out and let the best man win, and you move forward that way. And then you let everything else play out. Because if we really wanted to afford and re-sign everybody back, I mean, we could make it happen. I could do it on Spot Track very simply. So we can, but it's just a matter of, is it smart too,
Yeah. And part of me, I know this is going to be the most unpopular one, but part of me just says, you know what, just walk and we'll take the comp picks after this
Unless you're going to get
for both of them.
Unless you're going to get a third
For
rounder
both?
or better, you're probably going to get a third rounder for Riley, and then, you know, for even for Mims, you might get something too if we ultimately don't do anything in free agency. So yeah, I mean, the comp picks will definitely be there too.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I know Chris Abrams-Drain isn't, the tackler Riley is, but I think that he could play outside. I know we haven't seen a lot of him, but what we've seen from him was good. So, but yeah, maybe we're able to trade him to the Titans. We'll have to see. Jeremy's thought?
Yeah, the one thing about this conversation that I didn't hear anybody bring up about all these guys that are coming up for contract, that might have been another reason why we kind of stayed pat this offseason for free agency, because you're not adding. I mean, we didn't love contracts like the Troutman and all this stuff, but we didn't overpay other people that was going to put us in a worse situation. Maybe they were looking down the road and being like, and the guys that we kind of re-signed was like shorter terms, like 1 or 2 years. So they can move on from those guys. So maybe that's the move, is like, maybe we in the draft, we can get some guys up to speed this year, like Dallin Bentley or Justin Jolie or somebody like that. Let Troutman go, let somebody like that go, and then sign some of these guys that are kind of more essential. But once I saw the contracts of that we're talking about, I was maybe like, oh, then that's another reason why we didn't really go crazy.
Yeah.
And Darian's saying we were structured for no reason. I mean, you just can't say that it's for no reason, right? Because like worst case scenario, again, we have almost $26 million in cap space currently. If we don't use that money, it goes over towards next year. That basically puts us at what they had projecting to be like negative $35 million before anything. And
so we're at like, negative 10 then.
Yeah, and then you get rid of Ben Powers, you're big time in the positives. You get rid of Mike McGlinchey, you restructure him, you're huge in the positives. You let go of Cortland, and all of a sudden you have $65-70 million in cap space. So it's like, you don't have to spend. If you restructure a player, you do not have to spend the money that year. It's not like, oh, if you don't use it, you lose it. Like, you can use it down the road, and we just don't know where it's going to be used yet, but it's going to be used somewhere.
We got 37 UFAs? No way.
No way.
Thanks for the super chat, Moose.
That's not true.
I got to look this up. We can't have half our roster free agents next year.
No, we don't. That would be insane.
I was about to say, I know we drafted well in the 24 draft. We didn't draft that well.
I think he's actually right, but you're talking, it's because like you got like Jordan Miller, Jaden Robinson, Christian Williams, like all the undrafted guys.
You have 95 people.
Reese Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dondre Tillman's another one that's a free agent in 2027, but yeah, Frank Crum. So I mean, you got like a lot of the back end roster guys, but guys that you put like a tender on and then they come back.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you pull up Touchdown Bo Nix's latest comment? I don't think that's a hot take at all.
No, dude.
I think that they are hoping that happens, honestly. I think if Ellinger can battle him and look just as good, Jarrett, it's been real. Because he's going to save a lot. And yeah, that's just a hard one to get over. That they hyped him, like, that game was so crazy that they hyped him so much. I mean, we all did. We all were hopeful. And then immediately, because of one play, which it's one play, but everyone's, nope, you're not. But you did see the vast difference between having a dynamic quarterback like Bo Nix and then seeing somebody who's kind of stuck with Jarrett Stidham, and he needed to play really his best for us to win, as opposed to he could play bad for 3.5 quarters, or play not his best for 3.5 quarters and then still pull it out. So
would you trade for Spencer Rattler? Come on now, say yes with me.
Trade for? No.
I'd give up a 7th round pick for him.
Yeah, I'd give up a 7th round for Spencer for sure, and then save the $4.5 million bucks on Stidham. 1,000%. Spencer Rattler would be an awesome, like a much more interesting backup.
He's got way more experience now than Jared.
A lot more. I'm honestly, I'm so sick of Jarrett Stidham, dude. Like, I don't know. I don't know why it took like, I just feel like I heard somebody talking about him on the radio recently, and I'm kind of just annoyed by him at this point. because he's not even. I don't know. The backup quarterback situation is, unless you have an elite backup, which it's like, what does that even mean? What's the difference if Sam Ehlinger or it's Jarrett Stidham? Like,
Yeah.
if you need him in a playoff game, you're not going to win the Super Bowl regardless. So it doesn't really matter. So just go with the cheaper guy.
Yes, go with the cheaper guy.
It's that whole like who can carry you for 4 games in the middle of a season, like Brock Osweiler or Bubby Brister did, or something like that. That's where you got to look at your backup quarterback. Now, if they get hurt in the playoffs like Bo did, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
that guy's
and again, I feel way more confident in Spencer Rattler from what I've seen from him that he can carry us for 4 or 5 games, especially in a better system. But dude, here's an ideal situation, because I do feel like having Stidham in that quarterback room, the relationship that him and Bo have is really important. So what I would do if I was Sean, I'd say, listen, dog, you've made a lot of money as a backup quarterback. Why don't you just retire, become the quarterback coach next year? And he could just be Bo Nix's quarterback's coach. And they could just continue to do what they've been doing.
That's great, but Kilgore might be that guy. I mean, Kilgore, you never know whose timeline, you never know the timeline that these guys are on. And man, maybe Kilgore is on the Davis Webb timeline and trajectory right now. Who knows?
Maybe Davis Webb is gone next year.
That's true.
Because he's a head coach. Then you got upgrade. So, yeah, I mean, dude, Stiddy could totally be a coach. Backup quarterbacks usually always make the best coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all the really good offensive minds. Most of them are backup quarterbacks.
Gary Kubiak.
Yeah.
Sean Payton.
Exactly. That's
Payton.
right.
Mike Shanahan.
Jimmy G, he's the guy that can get you through 4 games if it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah, but he's going to cost you $10 to $13 million a year.
Not with how I structure it.
How would you structure it?
Give him all the phones he wants to eat. I don't know. I don't know. He signed for like a $1 million contract last year. You don't have to offer too much. I don't think so. But God, no. Oh, yes. Bring Anthony Richardson in not to play quarterback. I'm a fan of this move.
Somebody earlier said Mariota, because he's like a million more than
dude.
Stidham.
Didn't he quit on his team like a year or 2 ago? How's this guy still in the NFL? Didn't he just quit being on the Falcons or the Raiders? I can't remember. He just quit on his team because he got
Mariota. I don't know. The last time I saw Mariota, he was playing pretty darn well against us.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, he totally cooked us. Okay.
He's a really good backup,
and he's a really kind of a 1-for-1 of what Bo Nix's skill set is, to like the same, where it's like he can scramble, and he can, be effective, quick passing, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that would be a nice.
It was Anthony Richardson who quit on his team.
Oh yeah,
remember he tapped himself out of a game.
For him,
that's right. He's like, yeah, this guy.
They're like, what? Are you tired, dude? That's insane.
I just always feel weird about bringing in players with gray hair if they're not Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Jimmy G has gray hair now too. Anyways, no more Saints, please. No, get ready for when A.T. Perry's cut. He's going to be here on the practice squad. Yeah, imagine Jameis Winston, dude. It would be great to have Jameis. Guys, before I forget, we got to do our prize pick for tonight because it is the NHL playoffs. Thankfully, Carolina has made this fun. But we're going to do a quick NHL one. You guys know the drill. Use that code HMA when you deposit $5. You'll get 50 instantly. You can put towards lineups. Guys, let me know what is sticking out for tonight's Stanley Cup final game. Jack Eichel. Oh, man, above 20.25 minutes.
I'll go over on that just because I think all games are going to go to overtime in this series. And Eichel's obviously going to play a lot.
Yeah, that'd probably be easy. Mitch Marner, I'm going to put he goes over a goal and shot on goal, or 2 shots on goal. All right, Mark, Jeremy, you need to find one for me.
I'm going to go Carter Hart, more than 26.5 saves.
Dude, let's go.
Man, dude, as soon as the Avs sold, I was just like, I checked out.
Yeah, I'm just honestly picking somebody and doing over under.
Yeah, I don't care who wins. I know everybody hates Vegas, but I couldn't care less because it's not the Avs.
I hate Vegas too. I just for some reason I just had a feeling like that soulless like city was going to come back and haunt us for all the times we've burned them, especially like sweeping them in football. So had a bad feeling.
Oh, I got to go with the Carolina player to make this work. So, all right, over under Jordan Stahl 11.5 faceoffs won.
That feels
that's like a lot. That
feels like a lot.
It feels like a lot. All right, we're gonna go with that. Throw $5 on this thing, man. We'll see how it goes. Again, use that code HMA. And if we win it, the Venmos will be dispersed. All right. Well, a few more questions, guys. Then we got to wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Do you guys think Cam Jordan is coming to the Broncos, and can he play the DN position in this defense? Anybody?
I don't think he's ultimately going to come here, but yes, he would be a perfect fit as a 3-4 defensive end, in my opinion, in this defense.
Okay, let me follow that up to why do you think he won't come back? Do you think it's because we don't need him, or do you think it's because he's doing something else?
I think he would love to come here. I think that we are probably going to give him a very hard line number, probably a pretty incentive-laden contract, and he might be getting some better elsewhere. And we're going to kind of stick with it. But, I mean, we'll see, because I think he's at the point of his career where he really does want to go to a good team that has a chance to win. So there's probably a lot of others, but he does want to. Well, I think he does want to come to a good team. Yeah. So if it's, if there's other really good teams going after his services and they're willing to pay him more, he might elect to go there. But he's probably not going to sign until like the middle of training camp. He probably just doesn't want to do a whole camp. So.
Agreed. But that's why I think he could maybe come here, because I think there could be already a little bit like, hey, we're interested in you, but go ahead and take the, training camp off or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'll see you week 3 or 4 training camp. Here's the bigger question though. Like, put your heart and feelings aside, just the smart decision for this football team. Would you rather sign Cam Jordan or, Von Miller?
Cam Jordan.
Yeah, Cam Jordan. Moose pointing out, he's looming an offer right now from New Orleans, it sounds like. But
Cam Jordan, yeah.
But if we don't get him, Von Miller would be great. Oh, Bobby Wagner over both, though. Man, Bobby Wagner would be sick here. Man, I want Bobby Wagner. Yeah, Mark, I thought you were one of the biggest Bobby Wagner fans out there. What happened?
And then do you know what I saw when I was going and watching Troutman film?
No.
It was Ingram that absolutely cooked Bobby Wagner out of his shoes in that overtime.
I remember that play.
I was like, damn, that'd be kind of nice if Ingram did that against every linebacker. He absolutely destroyed him for like the 60-yard catch down the side. So. And then there's a lot of Commanders fans that were like in the comments on one of the videos or on something on Twitter, and they were like, he's really slow, he's lost a step. And I'm like, maybe he has. It's not like we have fast linebackers. But Bobby Wagner doesn't make sense here because unless he's going to start, why would he come here? And that's the problem. Like when you have 2 starters that you don't like, but they're going to start, it makes it very difficult because you've got to find someone that can play teams. You've got to be able to, you're limiting exactly the pool of players that you can bring.
Sorry, go ahead, Cody.
Okay. Mark, what I will say about that overtime game, let's not forget that only a couple minutes earlier, like I think with 2 minutes or 3 minutes left in the game, Bobby Wagner picked us off to set up the Commanders for the game-tying field goal. Remember that?
I don't, actually. It was him?
Yeah. Remember Bobby Wagner got an interception?
Was that on like that game was like the whole season was honestly kind of a blur, but was it like a really terrible pass or was it batted?
Listen, I can't remember because that game, like you said, it was a complete whirlwind. But Bobby Wagner picked us off with like 3 minutes to go, I want to say. And I remember it was not a good interception. I remember it may have been 3rd and long, okay, if I'm remembering correctly, but yeah.
Man, I don't remember. I completely.
Well, maybe I'll be back on the Bobby Wagner train then.
No, I was going to say that one play alone was like a two-pronged effect of like, where the hell is this Evan Ingram been? And
Yeah.
two, Bobby Wagner sucks. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, like, oh, he looked 38 or 39.
Bobby
on that one.
Wagner, like he was so slow on that play, but yeah, I'm full on the Red Murdoch train, so we don't need Bobby Wagner.
I'm all on the Torian York train. Yeah, I'm good.
I mean,
cannot
either
wait
one.
to see both those guys play.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, just somebody show they got a heartbeat in this linebacker room behind those two guys, please.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I gotta shut this thing down. But thanks for hopping on for a Tuesday, late Tuesday afternoon, horsepower hour. And guys, let me know what you got going on your channels. Kodiak, we'll start with you.
Well, I think now would be a perfect time. You guys piqued my interest. Okay, I'm going to look a little bit into Anthony Richardson because I embarrassingly overdrafted him in a lot of my dynasty leagues. And man, oh man, not only did I take him in a couple rookie drafts, but I drafted him in some startups as well at like the early second round after his rookie year. I was like, man, 22 points per game. If he hits, he's a home run. But yeah, no, I'm going to see, what we could do to potentially get him on our team. I know he requested a trade from the Colts, but it's one of those situations where who want me? Nobody. So yeah, I'm going to look into that. So keep your eyes out for that.
Dude, heck yeah. Mark, what you got coming up, man?
Yeah, I've just been cooking up a lot of different film reviews. Like I've been putting the films together for a few different players. So I'm looking to drop those soon. I just got busy over the weekend. I was actually up in the mountains. So hopefully we'll have some of that. And yeah, otherwise, whatever the latest news is, if there's anything that comes out of training camp, we'll talk about it. And but I'm excited to really do the whole roster review thing.
Still owe y'all my JJ McCarthy video. Why we should make him the backup. So maybe I'll do that if Broncos news is that boring this week. We'll see what happens. But I love talking about the backup quarterback position. So,
dude, if we somehow made him the backup quarterback, there would be some jackass on national media being like, who's going to be the starter?
Yeah,
like, I guarantee you.
Dude, it's 9. He's going 9 mode, man. We need 9 on here. Imagine if 8 went 9 in the AFC Championship game, baby.
Man.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Really great discussion here. Shout out to Moose. Thanks so much for tuning in. Also, let us know we got 37 free agents, but do not be scared, guys. Mostly those guys aren't seeing the field. So we'll be back next week to talk more Broncos. We'll see you next time.
It's finally done. The draft is done. Broncos country, we're here to break it down. We'll tell you about the players who bring the power. This is horsepower.